Oh
but
yeah.
not nervous.
Yeah. Hey, we're live now.
Hey.
So yeah, but hang on. We're not going to start yet. So, your internet's been restricted. Is that what you said?
We don't know what's going on. My son knows more. You know, when he gets into like the IP addresses and something's not being crossed over, and it's just give or take what it's actually letting me do at the moment. But at the
Yeah.
moment, I'm on my network on my mobile, so we should be all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, and the reality is it's an energetic thing that's happening. So it's keeping you off when you're supposed
A
to be
bit of
off. And
resistance, would be nice. A bit of resistance, always good.
yeah. So, oh, let me check and make sure it's working all right. Well, I'm showing a couple of people in. Let's see. I'm slow getting started. We've been knocking out a lot of shows and I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah,
We got
you have actually. There's been a load going.
yeah, we got five today. But I was excited that you guys scheduled this show. Hang
Yeah.
on. No, I was because I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I mean, I don't really get to talk to anybody hardly,
No, I
but
don't.
you, I mean, so I want everybody to know. Hello, Aline, Anna, Heather, Sheila, Mary Flynn, Starling, Kelly Sparkler, Raquel. Hey, I got a notification. Yay. Yeah, people say they're getting the notifications again. Britta Junker, Angie Pintelli. Uh, yeah, 39 people in the house.
Hey.
So, it's gonna take me a while to get going. I need to drink some more coffee. So I don't know if everybody knows this. Uh, so um, Rebecca Rebecca Williams is she's a very good friend. Um, she's somebody who came in the door at Soulogy. Um, I don't know, probably a year ago,
Yeah,
and just
April. Yeah.
yeah, and just hanging around and uh, real quiet, and then started just like coming out and doing these crazy off-planet, incredible, beautiful sacred geometry, and started verbalizing too. Um,
Well, I'm not too good at that bit. I
well,
try.
but you really transformed, and not only that, and this is what I want everyone to know too. Uh, that group was really how Soulogy started. So that group started March the 10th. Actually, Morgan's birthday is when I got the name, and but it was long before I knew her. It was in 2012, and so I managed it for a long, long time. I managed it probably till 2000, maybe 2015,
Yeah.
and and then all these different people have come in, and I appreciate everything that they've done. And there's been I've always said Soulogy is not a social circle. It's an energy.
It is an
And
energy and you
yeah,
hold space for it, you know, and that's
yeah,
what I feel I do for Soulogy is I
yeah,
hold space, and that's for anyone, whatever part of the journey that they're on. It's all relevant and it's all
yeah,
important. So
yes,
it all matters what goes out there. It's the seeds, you know, and
yeah,
it's the love and it's the transition that we're all on every day.
yeah.
I mean, since September, I don't know about anybody else, but it's just been one big shadow after another shadow after another
Well,
shadow,
let's
another
talk
one.
let's talk about that. But let me just conclude with this. So Rebecca came. A lot of people have come in and say, "Hey, I want to be an admin," or "Hey, let me help." And Rebecca just came in with no agenda at all, and just said, I remember you told me one day, you're like, Soulogy's helped me. I want to help Soulogy or
Mhm.
something like that. And, my observation was that you helped yourself. I mean, I think it's cool that, in other words, you epitomize what it is. No one's going to do it for you. You do it yourself.
Absolutely.
And so you came in with a bunch of other admins. There must have been, I don't even remember, 8 or 10 different admins, and you just kept, you just did it. You didn't talk about it. You just did it. Now, I don't get much time to go in there. It's up to like 25,000, 26,000 people in that group now.
Yeah,
And
they're in the world.
I have the other page. It's got like 14 or 15,000. My page, I get a lot of messages, and then there's the YouTube, which is we started putting stuff in, and I'm getting a lot of messages, and we only have like 1,600 subscribers. But so I try to go into the Soulogy group and help, and every time I go in, there's like, there's 20, 40, 50 posts pending. There's 20, 30 people trying to get in, and there's been a lot of spam, and there's been a lot of fake accounts, and I know it takes a lot of work. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Oh.
I don't have any expectations. If you ever say, hey, I can't do this, I mean, I totally understand. But I just want to say,
you feel the energy. You feel that there's
yeah,
nothing. I do it because I do it.
yeah,
It's there. And you're right. It has helped me. It has helped me.
yeah.
When
Well,
I
I
joined
just,
in April, I was
yeah.
in the darkest place still.
Oh, yeah.
Just literally, I just woke up one day and I thought I've got to be happy. I've got to find a way of wanting
Yeah.
to find myself again because I'd lost. And this for my life, to lose faith. I mean, for literally faith. It was quite a big sweep from under the feet, that the event that took place for this to happen for me. And I've spent the past 4 years now, 3.5 years, where it's been the biggest journey, where my whole life were emptied. I was emptied. Everything that was attached to me was gone. Everything that I thought I was went. Even my faith in my spirituality, it was wiped from underneath me. I had absolutely nothing to hang on to, and nothing, and it was only back in April that Soulogy, it kept drawing me, and it was little seeds, and it reminded me very quickly of, I do remember, I do know me, and I do know what I know is right and true. And even though that I've been mocked, and I've been, people are crazy lady, and I've been absolutely, everyone around me just disappeared, and I've been literally on my own, going through the worst space on my own. But when I look at the bigger picture, it is the best thing that could ever have happened to me. Yeah. Even though the actual story attached is devastating.
Yeah.
What it's done for me, my soul, it's given me that much solitude. I am now starting to lick windows, can I just say, but it's given me that much that I feel everything. I know me now so clearly, with so much clarity, and each perspective becomes deeper. You get another reality hits you almost, and then another clarity comes. And but since September, what started off to be, hey, yes, I'm back, I'm alive, I remember who I was, and then September hit, and it's just been, fear and doom, and oh my days, look what I've done, and how am I going to get out of this, and why is life the same? And it's been a proper beat myself up journey since September. But love has been the center of it. It hasn't been on a hate myself basis. It's been on a love myself basis.
Yeah.
It's been on a completely and utterly see myself as raw as I possibly can. But what comes with that, and I feel life, I feel energy, is it's not just me and my journey. I see and feel everybody else's journey around me. So when I see, and for everybody out there, the ones that it affects the most, it's your family, and watching those, and the people that you care about, and the ones that are actively in your life, and to feel, and I mean feel, where they are on their journey and why, and the intentions of them, and then their heart's desires and their shadows. It is so hard to concentrate on your own journey and to put yourself first when you feel everybody's core, because everybody's core is good.
Yeah.
So
how do you do that now? A lot of people, I say a lot, it seems to be I say a movement or a change in, because you're a full blown super duper natural empath, obviously. So, but there seems to be kind of a shift where the ultra sensitive person is starting to allow others to walk their own path, and to focus on their own
Yeah.
to apply their sensitivity, internally to themselves. How
It
do
is.
you do it?
And I feel like I'm transforming the pain of others around me as well in that process.
Yeah.
Where I'm not just in it for myself. And I think
Yeah.
I'm consciously aware of that.
Yeah.
That's the sole purpose of mine is to transform anything that comes into my path, transform it into love, just let it flow. And
Yeah.
it's when people say, you're so forgiving, a lot of people see that as a weakness. A lot of people just think, I'm so forgiving because I'm too weak to not forgive. It's completely the opposite. To have that fluid heart, to keep that fluid heart, and especially when you've had a few knocks and you've had a few, devastating moments in life, but just still hold that love and that heart's desire and to still see life as I do. I appreciate it's a tough road and not everybody has that perspective to do so. So I feel part of my soul journey is to guide those and to help those. And it's not something you can make somebody, oh, I see it now, I see it. It's a change within themselves. It's a change. It's the Christ consciousness. But once you start that path and once you start opening your heart center up to the Christ consciousness, those seeds and those life around you, you don't need anyone to point it out to you anymore because suddenly it will become you, So it's almost for certain people, it is to help those right now. And it's those that are just on the edge where, you can see they've done so much and they're starting to change. Their wisdom's changing, their choices, their perspectives are changing, how they're willing to forgive, how they're willing not to get so angry at the perspectives of others. For me, a lot of people think I fear judgment. I don't. I really don't. If what I've been through already and I'm through that and I'm alive, I really don't fear judgment. But I don't see why everybody should offer their life story out on a plate either.
Yeah.
Because that is somebody's sacred journey at the end of the day. Everybody has that right to hold that space within them. It doesn't mean they can't share what they're learning and growing and touch the hearts of others with it. And I think that's where my place in Soulogy, I feel, is that when I do feel others and I do feel the intentions of others and I sit very still and I feel that's my place for my soul, is to be a very still soul.
I noticed that about you. I noticed that, like, since we started communicating, 6, 8 months ago, whatever, I noticed. I mean, I could see like what you're talking about with people. I saw you come out and a lot of watching, then a lot of questions, and then interaction, and we, kind of this, and then you came out of this probably about September, and
Yeah.
slowly, just quieter, and then putting out the work, and then you send me a note. Thank you, Mr. Todd. I saw this. I noticed that. I saw this. I noticed that. It's all good. And all love, and I just noticed you just, and to me, I even see that in myself. I'm a talker, and I've
Yeah.
noticed that as time's gone on, in my own way, I'm getting quieter. I'm getting quieter, and I'm learning that if I know something, I don't have to say it. And it's,
Yeah.
and I'm not beating myself up either. That's another thing I noticed about you in the way you evolved is, I think part of the reason we became really good friends is because you would come out and say, this is going on and that's going
Yeah.
on. And then I would just hold space.
You'd be
And
my rant safe space. I'd be
yeah.
like, Mr.
And
Todd, rah.
I know. And then you would come back and just say, oh, I got this,
Sorted, got it, sorted.
and I do the same thing. I mean, and so I knew that energy. But what I'm getting at or getting to,
Yeah. I don't know whether anyone can still hear me or see Mr. Todd,
I'm here. They're just
but are
it's
you,
I'm
you there?
yeah, yeah, it's the program. I don't know what's up with it. But
That's okay.
what I was getting at, you're very comfortable. Uh, you're very at peace with who you are. You're expanding. That's what we're all doing. And you know, a lot of people think ascension is about, oh, fluffy light and, oh man, I got it
Oh,
figured out.
no.
Not. It's exactly the energy that you're exhibiting, which is, I'm still human. I'm expanding. I love myself. I love people, and I'm going to keep going. And it's not an easy trip. So my
It's not an easy
yeah,
trip, and I think we've got this illusion that at some point on this spiritual journey we're all going to break free of pain. No, we're not. We're just going to continuously get deeper and deeper into that spiral. We're going to continuously just have more of a natural ability to transform that pain. Because to me, that love and pain, you can close the book on the two. It's a
yeah,
very thin line.
yeah,
It only hurts because it comes from the truth, and truth is love.
yeah.
It's
And truth isn't always it doesn't always feel delicious.
no, it doesn't. I think if anyone has seen my latest picture that I've recently drew, and it's the pink center, and it's like a triangle thing goes around it, and that for me was heart center is the energies that are coming in at the moment. They're coming in from somewhere that's not actually known. They're a different energy. They are going through our heart centers and transforming us in a different way that we have yet experienced. Even though this has previously started, it's only now we're starting to feel the effects
Yeah,
of it. So with all the things that go around that heart center, and that is just how not only our physical bodies are changing to these energies, but what our perspective, our realities around us are changing because our heart centers are changing naturally
yeah,
by the Christ conscious energies that are coming in.
yeah,
It's it's a powerful thing, and I think faith has to be the biggest catalyst on your journey.
yeah,
Without
yeah,
the faith and the belief, it's not it's not
yeah,
possible.
yeah. People get caught up in words sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that because we can never really fully explain all this stuff. But I think for me, faith,
Oh,
faith is huge. That's
my journey started. Well, I think I've always been awake. I remember
yeah,
when I was, what, 7, 8. I remember that's really when I first started remembering. I used to have these big, huge white doves come into my room at night, and just the sheer glow of the doves used to light up my room. And they used to peck my feet to wake me up, and I knew they were there, and I knew, this went on for me. It felt like it went on for years, and they'd just come and visit me, and I felt really nice. And I was, and then my journey's gone on and on from there. But the time when I started to hear the language, like in my soul, I was at such a hard time, another hard time in my life, and I was like, right, angels, if you really are there, if you're speaking to me like I actually think you are. And I kept having these little things around, and I was crying, I was upset, and I said, I need something. I need something. I need something. If you want my faith in you, I need something. I went to sleep and I woke up, and there was no windows open, there was no nothing, and there was a feather literally the size of my palm, placed on it was on my bedside table. So as I opened my eyes, it was the first thing I saw. And it almost, that faith that got me, it was such a catalyst in my journey that it was from then on I started to have kind of like visions, and I knew more, and my intuition just got so strong because my faith in that had got so strong.
yeah,
So it
yeah. I get
doesn't matter where that journey starts, where that faith crosses that line into personally, I think we're past the stage now of proving. We're past the stage of explaining. We are in the life where we are living it.
the is
But
and the are, right? The is and the are. I
but
get
it doesn't mean the people that aren't quite there yet
yeah. There's
aren't
two things
important.
come. There's two things that come to mind. One of them, in as you're telling your story, is here's somebody who's like many people. probably even had a more visible connection with the universe, starting with these white doves that lit up your room and pecked your feet, and I know many other stories about you, uh, who still is in the human realm, in the human experience, and going through the human things and integrating, like you said, the book, the distance, or the distance from the front cover to the back cover, the book of pain and love the pages are very thin. So
Yeah.
integrating the human experience. And the other thing I wanted to say too, because I know you personally, and I know your story personally, and I know about you, and I want others to understand. I love the fact that you're bringing out, because it's so important. The human is the hero, the human is what it's all about. But not only do you have this incredible ability to channel into this incredible sacred geometry, which in itself is activating and a channel and a transmission and that type of thing, but you also have some pretty powerful intel, and you're in communion really pretty much every day. So, that's a lot to carry, and to be human. And I think there's more and more people taking on those various energies and that are expanding. And that's kind of tough to integrate. How do you manage to juggle all that?
Well, it started off stamping my feet and having a 2-year-old tantrum, to be fair, because it's almost like I've done all this and I've put the hard work in. Now cut me, give me a break. And all I get back in my heart center is, this is what I need to give out. And I think keeping myself so still and quiet, it really does help with that, because it keeps me so centered. But then I'm on the opposite scale, where you can start to, your experiences, say the things that I do know and feel, it's not that I dismiss them. It's just that because they're so normal for me to just know the things are going to happen, and I hear something and I'll watch a live and I'm like, well, I know, yeah, same. You can almost dismiss how powerful your own knowledge is. And I think I'm somewhere in between the two at the moment. And I'm not finding where I'm fitting in, I'm finding where I'm not fitting in. I'm doing that really well.
Well, I think that's, I laugh about that, because when I was given that name, March 10th, 2012, Soulogy, I said, well, what is it? And they said, the other side of truth. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds kind of clear, that sounds kind of cool. But the more I realized, how do you get to the truth, is where you're removing what's not you, or what's not real, or what's not the truth. So like what you just said makes a lot of sense to me. Finding out where you're not, aligned.
That seems to be the way I'm looking at it now. Sort of like, rather than sitting here every day going, why don't I slot in here, and why can't I just seem to find this and this and socialize like normal people do. It's more, I know where I don't fit in. I know where I feel comfortable, and I know in my own space that I am so sure of the truth. I'm comfortable in that space. And I am very comfortable in my own space.
Yeah.
But I now know that I need to push my own wisdom, my own life experiences. I need to now start helping others with what I do have.
Yeah.
So I'm still, having a little bit of a tantrum, because it's I'm saying, what?
Well,
what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, I talked to, I don't know if you saw that show with Marita Shoshan from Israel, who's been doing her work for 20 years. And she said toward the beginning of the show, basically, I don't know, just a few months ago, 18, 19 years into her journey, she's like looking at the universe, what the hell's going on? I mean, I think these tantrums, I do it, I say, what the hell's going on? Or I need some effing help, I mean, it stirs up some emotion. And what I'm getting from you that I can relate to is, I'll go to the universe and I'll just say, look, all I want to do is this. I mean, because this is what you've given me to do, and I just want to serve. So let's, help me out here. It's something about, I don't get as upset now, but I still get that emotion. It seems like every time that emotion triggers, then things come immediately.
It always
how
comes
yeah,
after a very still phase as well. I'll go
yeah,
from being really still, quite grounded. I'm
yeah,
thinking, a bit reflective. You've come far, you've done well. And all of a
yeah,
sudden, out of nowhere, I'll have this day where I'm in a little tantrum. And I'll start fearing everything. And I'm just like, oh, look at me. I haven't come any, But then if I look at where I was just in April to
yeah.
where I am now, huge.
You said that since September it's been interesting. What about this year? What's 2019 been like for you?
It seems at the moment it's fast but in slow motion. If that makes sense to anyone, it's almost I can see the dynamics of there's just for anyone's personal life. You're in the center, you've got sort of dynamics around you, whether it's relationships of whatever nature, it's family, people, partners, um, doors open, doors shutting, and it seems to be an awful lot going on in the first couple of weeks so far in January. There's a lot of news coming to me as well. There's been a few truths that have come out of the woodwork, and I'm still being so still, but it feels so slow as well, where I'm like, I could have made, say, 4 or 5 different choices in the past couple of weeks that I've chose just not to make any and stay still.
That's
But at the same time, I'm stamping my
yeah.
feet going, I'm so bored. I want the next thing. I want the next chapter. But what
Wow.
I'm aware of is this year will be a huge year for me.
Wow. You know,
Um,
Morgan,
so
Morgan and I, Morgan and I were just talking about that last night, and not just in our own lives, but in what we're picking up from other people, even some of the people that have been on telling their stories over the last few days. And the word board comes up. What's the next thing comes up? And the other thing that's kind of come up too is what you said about these things popped up, uh, and you just sit still and don't make a choice at all. Almost like you don't know what to do, so don't do anything.
don't do anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'll spend the next day going, well, I could have done that, and then I wouldn't be sat
Yeah.
here moaning. But
Yeah.
I'm very much, if something doesn't feel right in my heart, if I'm not led from there, I don't. If
Yeah.
I'm led from there, I tend not to do much at all. But if I'm led from there, you just seem to walk into things, and
Yeah.
that's when I think whatever this experience is going to be,
Yeah.
it's meant to be,
And
even if
that's
it's a
it.
bad.
Yeah. That's the other thing we were talking about, and some of what we've been talking about on the shows lately is how does this thing work? You know, we're like, okay, well, we know we've got to detach. Uh, you can't really plan. There's something about staying in the heart and figuring out or aligning or what means the most to you. But the action part of it is what's kind of weird. And so, like you said, you get still or whatever, and then it comes to you. So, but we feel, and a lot of the people that have been on the show had the same sentiment, which is there's almost like there's something coming, like something is different.
It's like
Something's coming.
it's like a pending something, and I know I hear the
Yeah,
saying. There's a lot of people feeling this,
yeah,
and I feel it's because that something has already happened. So a lot of people are like, it's now, it's going to happen now, or the event, or whatever it might be, or something personal to them. It's now.
yeah,
These changes have in some dimension, somewhere out there, these energies, it's already happened.
yeah.
It's just our consciousness. We haven't experienced it yet.
So
But
you're
in
saying
here, the
you're
truth,
saying
the
you're
truth that we
saying
all know,
yeah, you're saying energetically it's
it's
already
already,
occurred. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And we just gotta like clear the windshield or wipe the windows clean or our lenses or
Yeah.
whatever so we can see it. And
So obviously there is an element of ourselves, our higher selves, our soul, our centers, the truth that knows this already. It's just our consciousness in this here.
yeah.
We don't know it, but it's already happened. So we're feeling like there's something. I'm so bored. I'm so fed up, and that's why,
You
it's
you might have already answered this, but I just want to I'm curious. How do you do it? How do you handle since September, and how do you handle these, I don't want to say the ups and downs, you know,
Mm.
but how do you handle all these 4, 5, 6 different energies on your plate that you've told us about as the human hybrid soul in transition, Rebecca? How do you do that? How do you
I
stay?
feel them. I allow myself to feel them. If I feel they're consuming me, then I will give myself a part of that day to allow myself to feel whatever it is that's going on at that, whatever situation it is, as rawly as I could possibly feel it, and I'll give it all my attention. But if it's not consuming me and it's just something I need to work on, then I would just hold it constantly, just in good space, good space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that is how you transform something. If you start to let your mind creep in, and you let your thoughts creep in, you let the perspective of others creep in, you're so far away from your heart center that you will be off balance at that point. You'll be making decisions that aren't from your heart center, and that's going to happen to absolutely every single one of us every single day, because
Yeah.
choices are thrown at us from the minute we get up in the morning. We've got choices to make all day long.
Yeah.
You know, but personally for me, I just try and keep everything in a very positive mind. And even if it hurts me, I acknowledge it. I hurt. I want to cry, I cry. You know,
Yeah.
if that day I feel like my gut here just can't physically stand up, I allow myself to say, you know what, today I feel like I just can't stand up, and that's how I feel. It's a private journey,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't think many people will be able to keep. I start every day as afresh, every hour is afresh, and I have that ability to think, okay, so that's that situation, but now I'm going to be like this, and I won't ever leave a situation until I know I'm steady with it. I know I'm balanced. It's all good. Just flows. It's all good.
That's
And that's
another.
when
That's a really important point.
be fluid. Something's coming into your reality. It's coming into your energy, and it's not matching yours. It'll knock you. It will knock you in, whether it's going to be a good way, bad way. You know, whatever frequency that energy is, be fluid. So, okay, that didn't feel too great. But you know what? You know, it's just even imagine it as yourself as a bit of jelly, just as you know, even your heart center, imagine it as to be a fluid thing. It's
Yeah.
not a solid thing. It has to be fluid because the energy has to keep moving.
So let
You
me
know,
understand. Yeah. Let me understand this. You're helping me. So, yeah, I like what you're saying about the jelly thing. And but, see, Morgan pointed out to me a while back as I was traveling around. Basically, you can't you can't go from one place to another. You can't leave this place imbalanced where you're at, no matter what you're faced with. If you leave in balance, then the next place you go, and this is kind of a metaphor too, the next place you go will be a higher level of balanced opportunity or opportunity for balance, higher elevation. So what you're saying is the same thing. So like energies come at you and they don't necessarily feel good. If you be like jelly and fluid, then you take on that energy or interact with that energy, and you're in a balance as
yeah.
you know, it might be you, but as opposed to block you, f you, resist
If
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
At that point, you're not transforming it. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just rejecting it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
really
you
good.
have to allow energy to flow,
Yeah.
and if it's if it's somebody else's negative energy from a situation, from an
Yeah.
event, from a person, don't take it personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
If everybody could feel the truth, the absolute the truth, you wouldn't. And it's hard. I'm so some days I take things so personally. I know I
Yeah.
can't even look out my window. You know,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is difficult. We all have their moments, but whatever happens, it's there for a reason. So you have to allow it into you,
Yeah.
and the key, and I
Yeah.
think this is for anyone's soul journey, is to be able to transform it into love. Accept it. Acceptance is wow. It is for me.
And
I allow everything. And it doesn't mean means I allow people to walk all over me or treat me
right.
bad. It's just I allow.
Yeah.
Who am
You
I
you
not to?
you don't separate yourself. You don't say, well, that's not me. that's
or that's
that's
not
just
right,
that
or
you know what I mean?
that's
Yeah,
not, I allow.
yeah,
Then people say, how can you sit there and say you don't judge? And I think that's a good way of
mm,
putting that across. It's just I allow.
yeah,
Who am
yeah,
I to put anything on anything?
yeah.
You're adding a weight. If I judge anything or anybody, any situation, I'm adding a negative weight onto that person. If you talk about anybody, you're it's energy. It's verbal energy.
yeah.
And even though whatever language it might be, it doesn't matter. It's still energy because
Thought
the
thoughts energy,
intention's there. Forget the
thoughts
word.
too.
The intention. It's the intention
Master the
before it comes
yeah.
out of the mouth, and that attaches itself to that person, even if you're thousands of miles away.
I think you're transcending right before our eyes. You got some kind of galactic. This is awesome. Another word you bring up is that's a big word. I think that's really starting to surface, and I love it because it's not galactic and it's not angelic and it's not this divine essence is consciousness. It's human, and that's feeling. Feeling seems to be the new method of communication with self.
It's more than a feeling. For me personally, I don't think there's a word yet that covers this level of the depth people feel, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. And if I imagine that there's people who feel like I feel life, there isn't, you can't, words aren't enough. You feel more than that. You feel more than someone's intention. You feel, and that's too many words. You know so much just by the energy of someone. That's too many words. It's too many things. So I find it easy to say nothing. To say nothing. So I'll feel it instead. It speaks to me
Yeah.
so much quicker, clearer, and it's natural for me.
Yeah. Well,
And
feeling the energy of others, feeling your own energy, feeling your feelings, like you said. If you want to cry, you cry. You want to be angry, be angry. You hold those, things. And that's why I was saying you're teaching me something, because when I say that, I process things I know in my own way. Even being around Morgan, even being exposed to the people I talk to, there's just something that makes me kind of connect the dots. And I talked about this yesterday, but I woke up yesterday and I had a show that didn't it was delayed, and I got on Facebook to make the changes, and I saw these two posts, and one of them kind of was directed at me, and I usually don't pay attention to that shit, you know, but it kind of hurt my feelings.
oh, Mr. Todd.
So I was like, yeah, I don't want to say it pissed me off. It was
Yeah.
more, well, it probably pissed me off, and then when I just laid down with it, I was like, yo, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that they hurt your feelings or whatever. But the thing was, I didn't cast it out there. It was just I stayed with my own feelings, and I
I
said,
turn
okay,
it in myself, everything.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
hurts my feelings, I get wounded, offended. Even
yeah,
in that initial moment, you're offended, or
yeah,
you
yeah,
might feel a bit like, oh, or, then I'll turn it around. I'll just look at myself. What is that teaching me?
yeah,
And I apply that, and honestly, I apply that to everything.
yeah. That's
Even if
smart.
it's my mistake, even if I've done it to myself, but like, what have I just taught
Yeah,
myself there,
yeah.
You work on it, and it's a hard thing to do, but once you start doing it and you get past
You
the
you speak the same language Morgan speaks, and I think that's that is part of that, and there's a lot of y'all out there. I mean that are coming out. I remember when we did a first show together, and you were like a lot of them, just a little apprehensive, a little bit, I don't maybe shy, I don't know, but more like, why do I got to do this? But
yeah,
I think that is definitely that Mother Goddess frequency. It's that
it's only getting stronger.
yeah, it's that self-reliance. It's that I am the universe. It's not about anything out there. It's all about me.
It is.
Which yeah, which the basis of transformation in the universal is right here, right?
It is, but we can't go selfish. We can't turn around and say everything is all about me and I'm only going to
Yeah,
think about me, because when you're looking at people, they are you. We are
Yeah.
each other, what you're learning from, they are you. It's having the mindset of what everything you experience, everything you see,
Yeah.
that is you. So apply that. When everyone says, I've got to put myself first, just remember that everything around you is you.
Yeah.
Everyone you speak to is you. It's an element, it's a part of you. So it doesn't mean that you have to go, oh no, I'm sorry, you're not on my frequency, I'm not going to talk to you. You know, it's it doesn't mean that you have to be so selfish that you just have to accept that everything that, I don't like to use mirror. I don't like to use that because not
Yeah.
everything is a mirror. Not everything is. It's like, it's for some things are a lesson, some things are just a seed, some things are just an experience that you've got to go through for somebody else, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just, it's finding the balance, and I think that's where a lot of us at the moment, we are being so bumped about. Yeah, really, really kicked.
Bumped about.
We really are, and it's about finding the balance. These more energies are coming through, and you think,
Yeah.
right, we're here, I'm there, I'm okay, and then you'll get another load, and you're like, oh no, no, and we just got to keep it flowing and keep
Yeah.
yourself fluid.
I tell you another thing that's really jumping out at me talking to you is reiterating it or deepening it. Uh, and what I'm observing in myself, what I'm seeing in others, and in the work I do, I'm going to use you as an example. I know you. I know the type of incredible channeling and transmissions and downloads you receive. I mean, that and a lot and more people are getting that. And I know how that can be such a challenge to the egoic and just such a power surge into your body and your life and your soul and your ego and you know, and you still got all this other stuff going on. And and it's what I'm seeing in people, and as you as an example, is this going deeper and deeper into our beloved human aspect, and words like feeling, you know, and holding space, and self love, and like you said earlier, hey, look at all you've done, you know, look where you've come from, and giving ourselves some credit and instead of running from the human, actually expanding our consciousness and
We are
expanding our
human.
wisdom and love by moving deeper into, or like Morgan says, embodying all these things in the human instead of
It is.
running from it.
We're spiritual. We are an energy. We you know, we never end. Our energies will never end. This moment here, we are human. And yeah, it is really hard to say, I'm going to embrace that and I'm going to love every single second of it. Not everybody's life is like that. And even when you are spiritual and you get it and you understand it, and, you know, it's still tough. It's
Yeah,
still not a bed of roses. You understand what love and truth is, I think,
yeah,
from the core. And you understand other people's love and truth.
yeah,
And it keeps the next day and the next day going for me anyway.
yeah, yeah. I almost don't want to ask you this, but a lot of people are talking about there seems to be something going on with the end of, you know, as February goes into March, as you know, there's been some prognostications, and we've heard this stuff before, but there's something different in the air in 2019. Do you, and you've really kind of said it like something's looming, something's coming. You're
Yeah,
saying it's
we
already
got
happened, but
a bit of resistance, you
huh?
know. And I always say a bit of resistance is good. You know something good is
Yeah,
happening. You know something really good is going to happen. And
yeah,
you look at how things have been, you know, sort of last year. A lot of resistance, and that's in the elements. It's in people's personal lives. It's in our hearts and our souls. We're pushing through that now, and this is going to be where the energy can really start flowing, you know, because energy has to flow. And if it's going to hit something it doesn't quite meet, it's going to hit resistance. So as we start changing, as our heart centers are changing, as we soul families are starting to connect, as our intentions and our faith are building together, that's power. That is
mm,
true power. You know, the more you put people together with the same intention and heart, faith, that goes. So this is going to be the year that energy is going to be allowed to. It's almost going to have a dance. It's going to have a sing. It's not going to hit so many brick walls. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna flow a lot more easier this year, and it's gonna start transforming society, and
I'm
it's
sitting here,
about time.
I'm sitting here listening to you, and what popped in my head was what you hear a lot, instant manifestation. But it was like I heard instant manifestation, and I heard no, because you were saying energy is energy, and it hits you, and sometimes there's resistance, but now it's kind of like you're talking about the jelly thing, right?
Yeah, it's
Being
less
fluid,
resistant.
and what popped in my head was it's not instant manifestation anymore; it's instant transformation.
It is, because it's we're in the Christ consciousness. It's not just a decision that we're making anymore. It's changing. It's changing from the very inside. Our perspectives will be changing, not because we've made that decision. It's because everything is changing. It just
Yeah,
that's how the energy will just flow so much. So yeah, there's going to be next year, this year coming, and next year up to 22. I think we're going to see social structures around us, and how governments are, and everything is just going to, like, we wouldn't even believe. But it's
yeah,
about, but this year is going to be the first year where everybody is going to start to get their goals easier,
yeah.
because
You,
that manifestation, that is part of the transformation.
yeah,
Once you've got one part of it, the other part, it comes naturally.
yeah.
you
I
know
think it. I agree with you. I really do. I think I would use the word mirror, but mirror as in what happens in here happens out there.
that's
But
the mirror.
yeah. But I was going to say
And people
it will
people
be
lot people look at it the other way around.
yeah, yeah. And I think it'll be really cool when something such as the understanding that the biggest thing we can do to change things out there in the mirror is that personal transformation, like you're saying, taking everything into yourself. But to see something like that hit like mainstream, I mean, I don't know if it would happen in a literal sense or it would all be telepathic, but to me that's exciting to see something that we might call 5D or ascension related or
Oh,
whatever.
it's on the doorstep, where
Yeah,
the soul families and that. I mean, because with you, I messaged you a couple of weeks ago, and it's we don't message a lot, and I just knew what I feel. You're different. What's going on, So it's
oh,
just,
I
and
was having my ass handed to me on a soul plate.
I didn't know this. I don't know what's going on in your life. I
uh,
just felt that there was something inside your makeup that was starting to turn in a different direction. There was something in you but you really hit a, and I felt that. So that connection, it's already there. People have already got it, and soul families, it's only going to get stronger and
yeah,
stronger.
yeah,
And it is wordless. The connection, there are
yeah,
no words. It's a language without words.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm
No,
fortunate, I'm fortunate to be in a relationship. And that's one thing I noticed too uh is that, and it's I'm sure it's me changing, you know what I mean? But it's got to be some type of parallel in the collective, and that is the we don't have to say anything. Like
yeah,
we can just hang out or we can just be in each other's space, and again, that's just a reflection of something going on more collectively. But you're right. There's nothing needs to be said. I mean, it's a powerful thing. If you can achieve these things as an individual in silence, what happens? What's the difference besides an exponential expansion when there's two or more people? I mean, this is really true what you're saying.
it is. But you have to start with knowing, absolutely knowing your own, like the intuition. Let's label it intuition. To know
Yeah,
your own intuition without doubt
yeah,
is the first step
yeah.
of
True. Yeah,
that kind of communication.
yeah,
Because once you know that, and you know that feeling for sure,
yeah,
nobody, poke my eyes out with hot pins, you will not get me to say anything different. If I
yeah,
know that is, it's right, it fits its truth.
yeah.
And that's how people are going to start communicating a lot more without words.
You said it, and what you said at the top of the show, which was you said you you watch a video or you see this or you read that, but really at the end of the day, you are and I can relate to this too. You're having confidence and you're trusting what you're getting, you know.
Absolutely.
So that, you know, that's a very, very important. And you hear more and more people talking about that. They say, look, I don't, I'll, you know, like for me, I might watch, you know, a 20-minute video. I'll watch 3 minutes of it. I pick up the energy. It's more like the energy's coming, you know,
It's
or
the
the,
energy, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and you know, and nothing's coincidence. When you do log into one and you might watch it 5 minutes and you'll hear that whatever was being said in that 5 minutes, it'll
Yeah,
link with you
yeah,
for the rest of the day and you're just like, I was meant to hear that, you know.
yeah.
And it's just and it
You said
works now. Flow.
you said something else too that I just thought of again, which it does sound funny, but you know, you said 2019, time's moving real fast, but it's moving real slow, right?
Mm.
And it's like, you know, it's like there's all this information occurring in, you know, a period of, you know, say an hour, a day, or a week, or whatever. Like it's way beyond what we were receiving prior in that time period.
It's a
And I,
completely different
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
So it holds completely different knowledge.
yeah,
You know, this is the year a lot of
yeah,
us are going to be expanded further,
yeah.
you know, to even the ones that we would say, I don't get wowed. We're
I do
going to
what?
be a bit wowed.
Oh, I don't get wowed.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's very true. I don't know if you saw those pictures, but we had that portal, that doorway appear over the house that we're staying at. And,
Yeah.
you
Do you
know,
think we
that's,
can start to take those things as for granted? You know, once you start to feel the signs,
yeah,
you see the
yeah.
signs. I mean, I said it to Bonnie the other day. I see this rainbow and it keeps coming, it keeps coming. It's the same place and it's on a different day. And I've took it for granted. It's my rainbow again. There's my rainbow. And then
Yeah,
I stopped and I thought, actually, no, how many people does this actually happen to? This is really
yeah.
trying to speak to me. Why am I just flippantly kind of going, oh, it's just another rainbow. It's there all the time. You know, it's so,
We were talking about that last night. We were like, because a friend of ours lives about 20 miles away on the other side of the island. And she said, I'm going to go. Do you think I'd be able to see it? Well, I lived at her house and I know the distance and, you know, and you can see the stars in the sky here. So she said she couldn't see it. And we were talking last night. I said, I wonder if we would have gone to the neighbor's house and called them out of the house to go look if they'd have seen
if
it.
they would have seen it.
And you know, and I remember too that like I'm going back like 3 or 4 years. I didn't know anything about anything. And I would walk out the back door of my house and I would look up and there was always this star, always in the same place, same time, everything. And I thought, well, how the hell does that work? Don't the stars move? Because I really didn't
Yeah,
know anything. But
yeah.
and then one night it said Dog Star, and then one night it said Sirius, and I thought, what? You know? But back to what you really the root of what you were saying is, and we were talking about this again last night. We are talking about all the divine episodes we've had individually with other people. I mean, all of these things we can't forget that. You know,
No.
we can't forget that, you know, so many times we're like, oh, that's a coincidence, oh no, but if you line them all up together, it's a freaking miracle.
Or
And
if it
that's what, yeah,
happened, you know, a few weeks ago, happened like last year or a few years ago,
yeah,
it's not as, oh, you know, and that happened. And then, you know, I
mm,
saw, and when I speak about that first, the biggest powerful vision that I ever had, I speak about that now. I'm like, oh, yeah, and then I saw this, and, you know, I was in the grid, I was in the
man,
matrix, and I saw Earth was
I'm
perfect,
still at
and
I'm still at the
saw
white
the Big
birds coming.
Bang, and,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm still at the white birds coming into your
you
bedroom
still
and your
the
little
white
kid pecking
birds.
your feet.
Oh. Oh, I've had a few visions.
Yeah,
I've been in the matrix. What
yeah,
I don't like to use the word. When I say matrix, it's the grid.
the grid, yeah,
It's the
the
grid.
grid,
I was in what I'd call my
yeah,
resting place. To me, it was home.
yeah,
And we're all there. And where the grid meets is our soul families where we're connected.
yeah,
And this grid it wasn't Earth, it was everywhere, it was universal. And I knew that I was three from source. I was
yeah,
three from source.
yeah,
I don't know what the three was, but I was three from source, and Earth was somewhere way over there. It was perfect, and the colours were beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
like we didn't actually live on Earth anymore, but we did. It would just, we understood that everything at this point was, we could be there if we wanted. We could be in Australia if we wanted. We could be back in our home resting place if we wanted, because everything's here. It's not there. It's here. It's in one place.
Yeah.
And I got it all in one. I was polishing a big black glass table at the time. And in one sort of, I don't know how long I was in the vision for, but the knowledge I walked away from, that was so immense. So imagine like an atom, you know, molecules and atoms, and we're all built up. That's how soul families are built up. We are all together. We are all connected to that one divine grid. And you whap all that together, suck it all in. It's just one.
Yeah.
You know, and I was in it, and I felt the energies. Wow. I felt energies of, it's hard to explain. I felt energies of everything.
Sounds like it was I am the universe.
It was and I just knew things from that day on.
Yeah.
Just from that one.
Do you ever go back to that place? I mean, do you ever like just, you know, meditation and close your eyes and just...
Yeah, it's my resting place. That's where I go. That's where if I want to connect to my higher self, if I'm sending any healing, intentional work, which I do all the time, because I'll feel someone needs it. They don't need to know. I do it anyway. That's where I go. I'm straight in the grid, and that's my resting place, because I know that grid will go straight to that person's heart center. It will go exactly where I want it to go. And maybe I'm blessed that I had that vision, because I haven't got to second guess it. I haven't got to go through different dimensions of pinks and this and that to get to where I need to be to do what I need to do. I'm there. I'm there and there. It feels like home to me, and that's where I get my information from. That's where I get my knowledge from. That's where I rely on my truth.
Yeah.
Is from there. Now I can think it's here. I can think it's up there. It's not. It's here. I just saw it in my third eye, but it's all just one.
Yeah.
It's so hard to put these things into words, Mr. Todd. It really is.
I know, but that was a very good description, you know, and we all have that place we can go.
Everything is connected to that place. Everything is connected to what I was in. If people say, you know, you Blu-ray, this, you that, when I'm asking, what am I? Who am I? Where am I from? You know, I'm getting you are everything you are one.
Yeah.
You're fluid. You are everything you are one.
Yeah. Somebody said it yesterday on a show, and I can't remember who it was, and they said something like, and it wasn't judgmental. It was just saying, hey, you know, some people get this essence or this galactic or they're, you know, this label or whatever, and they said basically they were saying, why would you limit yourself? You know,
basically I think that's what it is. I started off with the feather. It's not a judgment. I started off with the feather, and from that feather came that vision, and from that vision came everything that came a whole lot more, put it that way. So it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
For everybody. So it's not a judgment at all when you think like that. But yeah, you're right. Why put limits on it? Because you touch it. I feel it. I mean, I think July, August, I was surrounded by dragon energy.
That was my trip in November, man. Yeah.
You know, and then it was Panther. After that, I was just like,
Yeah.
See, we do feel the energies, and you work with it. But yeah, don't limit yourself. Be fluid. Feel them all. You are them all.
I love that. I love the fluid and the jelly, you know, metaphor. Be like jelly. It's like Bruce Lee says, be like water. But be like jelly. But yeah, you know, be you know, almost viscous. You know, where something hits you and you just kind of form with it, and like a trampoline. Yeah, you know, it kind of springs back. If it's something you really want to stick around with, then you stick around with it, and if not, you just release and it goes. And like you said, you interact in balance, regardless of whether you're still hugging it or you're allowing it to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. All right. So I just want to say again publicly, on a personal level, thank you so much for what you're doing with the Soulogy group, because I don't know. I even thought about it today. I thought, well, maybe I just need to make it public and just let it be a free for all. But somebody wrote a post yesterday, and they said, I really dig the group because there's not a lot of BS in it, and oversaturation of, and it takes a lot of work. I know how much work it takes, and
It does take a lot, to because there are a lot now coming in,
oh
sort
my,
of the requests and the posts, and
it's insane.
there's a couple that I have had to pull you up on. Just check that before I post it, and
Yeah.
you just have to be aware, because sometimes you might start reading something and then just towards the end of the post you're thinking, oh
I
crap,
know. I've done it
how good is
before.
that?
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of work, and I've gone in there and tried to help, and because I'll go in and look and and I'll see 50 posts and 25, 30 people, and I'm like, holy crap. And I just try to run through them, and you're right. But yeah. But anyway, my point is, I just want to say thank you, because it's more work than it's ever been by far. And there are a couple other people in there, but I mean, you're doing 99.9% of it. So I just want to say thanks. It's, there's no expectations here, and do what you feel like you want to do. And I just want to say thank you for that. And
It's an
also,
exchange of loving energy. Soulogy gives
yeah,
it me, and I give it to Soulogy.
yeah. And, I look forward to doing this more, and you being on the screen more, because you have an incredible amount of sacred wisdom you carry, and a wealth of information activations to offer. So thank you for your patience in the development of Soulogy. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for joining us today. I love you very much.
And thank you for Soulogy, Mr. Todd.
Hmm.
God bless to you.
Peace out.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Right, bye-bye.
Bye.